Forbes' real-time snapshot placed Amancio Ortega in the top 10, with wealth tied to Zara parent Inditex and major real estate holdings. This episode is not about admiring money for its own sake. It is a business case study. How the fortune was built, what assets drive it, what setbacks shaped it, and what a normal viewer can actually learn from it. Amancio Ortega built a retail fortune without building a loud public persona. His advantage was speed. Zara could sense what customers wanted, adjust designs quickly, manufacture fast, and move products into stores while fashion demand was still fresh. Ortega began in textiles and launched Zara in 1975 with Rosalia Mira. The model later became Inditex, a global retail group with multiple brands. Instead of relying only on seasonal fashion calendars, Zara built a fast feedback loop between stores, designers, factories, and logistics. That operating system created value because fashion is perishable. A design that arrives late can miss the moment. A retailer that listens quickly can sell closer to demand and reduce guesswork. Forbes has reported that Ortega owns a large stake in Inditex and receives major dividends, which he has reinvested heavily into real estate across Europe and North America. That turned retail cash flow into a second wealth engine. The setbacks are important. Fast fashion faces sustainability criticism, consumer cycles can shift, and succession matters in a company so closely associated with founder culture. The lesson is that glamour is not the same as value. Speed, detail, humility, and reinvestment can build an empire quietly. The major business and asset map is Inditex, Zara, Massimo Dutti, Pull and Bear, Dividends, Global Real Estate. The publicly documented lifestyle angle is famously private, based around La Coruna, Spain, and known for preferring recognition from family, friends, and colleagues rather than the public. The main work principles are supply chain speed, customer feedback loops, operational detail, disciplined reinvestment. The main setbacks and risks are fast fashion sustainability criticism, retail cycles, succession risk, global consumer slowdown risk. Now look at the fortune like an editor reading a balance sheet. The headline number is dramatic, but the mechanism matters more. Amancio Ortega's wealth is not sitting mostly as cash in a bank account. It is tied to ownership, market valuation, private company estimates, and assets that move as investors reassess the future. That means the fortune can change quickly, sometimes by billions in a day, without the person buying or selling anything. That is why the asset engine matters. In this case, the main map is Inditex, Zara, Massimo Dutti, Pull and Bear, Dividends, Global Real Estate. Each asset tells a different part of the story. Some create operating profit. Some create strategic control. Some create optionality, meaning they may not be the biggest source of wealth today, but they could matter more if the market shifts. There is also a timing lesson. Huge fortunes usually come from being early to a structural change and then staying exposed to it for a long time. The change might be electric transportation, search advertising, cloud computing, artificial intelligence, enterprise software, social networking, sports franchises, or global retail logistics. The public often sees the famous person after the outcome is obvious. The wealth was usually created years earlier, when the bet still looked uncertain. This is where the business map matters. The companies, products, and ownership stakes explain far more than the headline ranking. Viewers should understand the difference between salary, revenue, profit, ownership, and net worth. A billionaire ranking is not the same thing as cash. It is a mark-to-market estimate of claims on businesses and assets. The habit pattern is also worth separating from the mythology. The useful principles here are supply chain speed, customer feedback loops, operational detail, disciplined reinvestment. These are not magic personality traits. They are repeatable work behaviors: choosing a hard problem, staying close to the product, using feedback, hiring strong people, managing risk, and making decisions with a longer time horizon than the average competitor. The lifestyle section should stay disciplined. The publicly documented angle is famously private, based around La Coruna, Spain, and known for preferring recognition from family, friends, and colleagues rather than the public. This belongs in the story because viewers expect it, but it should not become the story. The editorial framing is simple. Lifestyle shows what extreme wealth can buy, while the business engine shows how the wealth was created. The setback section is where the episode earns trust. The known risks and reversals include fast fashion sustainability criticism, retail cycles, succession risk, global consumer slowdown risk. These moments matter because wealth stories become misleading when they only show victories. Every empire has pressure points: regulation, execution, public trust, changing technology, debt, competition, succession, or consumer backlash. For ordinary viewers, the lesson is not to imitate billionaire behavior out of context. Most people cannot copy the capital base, access, timing, or tolerance for loss. But they can copy the clearer habits, learn a valuable skill, understand how money flows through a business, build or own productive assets, avoid lifestyle inflation too early, and think in years rather than days. The final beat should be practical, not worshipful. Ask, what did this person understand before most people did? What asset did they own while that insight became obvious to the world? What risk almost broke the story? And what is the smaller version of that lesson that a normal person can actually use? The practical lesson is clear. Wealth at this scale usually comes from ownership in a compounding asset. The viewer does not need billions to use the lesson. They need sharper judgment, useful skills, better risk control, and the patience to build or own things that become more valuable over time.